भगवते
वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 5, Text 32. Everyone got the slogan? Krishnavarnam Pasha Krishnam.
Krishnavarnam Pasha Krishnam.
Krishnavarnam Pasha Krishnam.
Krishnavarnam Pasha Krishnam.
Sangopangastra Parshadam.
Sangopangastra Parshadam.
Sangopangastra Parshadam.
Sangopangastra Parshadam.
Yajnai Sankirtana Praye.
Yajnai Sankirtana Praye.
Yajnai Sankirtana Praye.
Yajnai Sankirtana Praye.
Yajantihi Sumedashaha.
Yajantihi Sumedashaha.
Yajantihi Sumedashaha.
Yajantihi Sumedashaha.
Krishnavarnam Tasha Krishnam.
Krishnavarnam Tasha Krishnam.
Sangopangastra Parshadam.
Sangopangastra Parshadam.
Yajnai Sankirtana Praye.
Yajnai Sankirtana Praye.
Yajantihi Sumedashaha.
Yajantihi Sumedashaha.
Krishnavarnam Tasha Krishnam.
Krishnavarnam Tasha Krishnam.
Sangopangastra Parshadam.
Sangopangastra Parshadam.
Yajnai Sankirtana Praye.
Yajnai Sankirtana Praye.
Yajantihi Sumedashaha.
Yajantihi Sumedashaha. Krishnavarnam Tusha Krishnam. Krishnavarnam Tusha Krishnam. Sangopangastra Parshadam. Sangopangastra Parshadam. Yajnai Sankirtana Praye. Yajnai Sankirtana Praye. Yajantihi Sumedashaha. Yajantihi Sumedashaha.
Krishnavarnam Trisha Krishnam.
Krishnavarnam Tusha Krishnam.
Sangopangastra Parshadam.
Sangopangastra Parshadam.
Yajne Sankirtane Praye.
Yajnai Sankirtana Praye.
Yajantihi Sumedashaha.
Yajantihi Sumedashaha.
Krishnavarnam Pasha Krishnam.
Krishnavarnam Tusha Krishnam.
Sangopangastra Parshadam.
Sangopangastra Parshadam.
Yajne Sankirtaya Praye.
Yajnai Sankirtana Praye.
Yajantihi Sumedashaha.
Yajantihi Sumedashaha.
Krishnavarnam Trisha Krishnam.
Krishnavarnam Tusha Krishnam.
Sangopangastra Parshadam.
Sangopangastra Parshadam.
Yajne Sankirtana Praye.
Yajnai Sankirtana Praye.
Yajantihi Sumedashaha.
Yajantihi Sumedashaha.
Krishnavarnam Pasha Krishnam.
Krishnavarnam Tusha Krishnam.
Sangopangastra Parshadam.
Sangopangastra Parshadam. Yajnai Sankirtana Praye. Yajantihi Sumedashaha. Krishnavarnam Tusha Krishnam.
Sangopangastra Parshadam.
Yajnai Sankirtana Praye. Yajantihi Sumedashaha.
Krishnavarnam Tusha Krishnam.
Krishnavarnam Tusha Krishnam.
Sangopangastra Parshadam.
Sangopangastra Parshadam. Yajnai Sankirtana Praye. Yajantihi Sumedashaha.
Krishnavarnam Tusha Krishnam.
Krishnavarnam Tusha Krishnam.
Sangopangastra Parshadam.
Sangopangastra Parshadam.
Yajnai Sankirtana Praye.
Yajnai Sankirtana Praye.
Yajantihi Sumedashaha.
यजन्ति सुमेधसः
कृष्णवर्णं त्रिसङ्कर्षणं
कृष्णवर्णं विशा कृष्णं
सङ्गोपाङ्गासुपार्षदं
साङ्गोपाङ्गास्त्रपार्षदं
यज्ञे संकीर्तनप्राय
यज्ञे संकीर्तनप्राये
यजन्ति सुमेधसा
यजन्ति सुमेधसः कृष्णवर्णं साङ्गोपाङ्गास्त्रपार्षदं यज्ञे संकीर्तनप्राये यजन्ति सुमेधसः कृष्णवर्णं विशा कृष्णं साङ्गोपाङ्गास्त्रपार्षदं यज्ञे संकीर्तनप्राये यजन्ति सुमेधसः
कृष्णवर्णं विशा कृष्णं
कृष्णवर्णं विशा कृष्णं साङ्गोपाङ्गास्त्रपार्षदं
प्राये
यज्ञे संकीर्तनप्राये यजन्ति सुमेधसः
Sridhar Swamipad, you want to recite?
Yes, Prabhu. कृष्णवर्णं त्विषा कृष्णं
कृष्णवर्णं विशा कृष्णं
साङ्गोपाङ्गास्त्रपार्षदं
साङ्गोपाङ्गास्त्रपार्षदं
यज्ञैः संकीर्तनप्राये
यज्ञे संकीर्तनप्राये
यजन्तीः सुमेधसः
यजन्ति सुमेधसः
Where is Prahlad?
Prahlad is sleeping, Prabhu. His time is low.
Radha Mataji, you want to recite?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Krishnavarnam Krisha Krishnam
कृष्णवर्णं विशा कृष्णं
Sangopanga Parshadam
साङ्गोपाङ्गास्त्रपार्षदं
Yajne Sankirtana Praye
यज्ञे संकीर्तनप्राये
Yajanti Samedasa.
यजन्ति सुमेधसः
Can read the translation.
Me, Prabhuji?
No, not you.
Okay.
Translation.
Here, let us read. No.
In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of God, who constantly sings the names of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions.
Okay, perfect.
The same verse is quoted by Krishnadasa Kaviraja in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela chapter 3 verse 52. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vriksha Prabhupada has given the following commentary on this verse. This text is from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.32. Srila Jiva Goswami has explained this verse in his commentary on the Bhagavatam known as the Brahma Sandarbha, wherein he says that Lord Krishna also appears with a golden complexion. That golden Lord Krishna is Lord Chaitanya, who is worshipped by intelligent men in this age. That is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam by Garga Muni, who said that although the child Krishna was blackish, he also appears in 3 other colors: red, white, and yellow. He exhibited his white and red complexions in the Satya and Treta ages respectively. He did not exhibit the remaining color yellow gold until he appeared as Lord Chaitanya, who is known as Gaura Hari. Srila Jiva Goswami explains that Krishna Varna means Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Krishna Varna and Krishna Chaitanya are equivalent. The name Krishna appears with both Lord Krishna and Lord Chaitanya Krishna. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the supreme personality of Godhead, but he always engages in describing Krishna and thus enjoying transcendental bliss by chanting and remembering his name and form. Lord Krishna himself appears as Lord Chaitanya to preach the highest gospel. Varnavati means utters or describes. Lord Chaitanya always chants the holy name of Krishna and describes it also. And because he is Krishna himself, whoever meets him will automatically chant the holy name of Krishna. And later describe it to others. He injects one with transcendental Krishna consciousness, which merges the chanter in transcendental bliss. In all respects, therefore, he appears before everyone as Krishna, either by personality or by sound. Simply by seeing Lord Chaitanya, one at once remembers Lord Krishna. One may therefore accept him as Krishna Tattva. In other words, Lord Chaitanya is Lord Krishna himself.
Next.
What indicates that Lord Chaitanya is Lord Krishna. His body is always decorated with ornaments of sandalwood and with sandalwood paste. By his super excellent beauty, he subdues all the people of the age. In other lessons, the Lord sometimes used weapons to defeat the demoniac, but in this age, the Lord subdues them with his own attractive figure as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Goswami explains that his beauty is his extra or weapon to subdue the devils. Because he is all attractive, it is to be understood that all the demigods live with him as his companions. Acts were uncommon and his associates wonderful. When he propagated the Sankirtana movement, he attracted many great scholars and acharyas, especially in Bengal and Odisha. Lord Chaitanya is always accompanied by his best associates like Lord Nityananda, Advaita, Gadanara, and Srivastava.
Okay, next.
Bhakti Goswami cites a verse from the Vedic Vriksha that says that there is no necessity of performing sacrificial demonstrations or ceremonial functions. He comments that instead of engaging in such external pompous exhibitions, all people regardless of caste, color, or creed, can assemble together and chant Hare Krishna to worship Lord Chaitanya. Krishna Varnam Rivas Krishna indicates that prominence should be given to the name Krishna. Lord Chaitanya taught Krishna consciousness and chanting the name of Krishna. Therefore, to worship Lord Chaitanya, everyone should together chant the Mahamantra. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram.
To propagate worship in churches, temples, or mosques is not possible because people have lost interest in that. But anywhere and everywhere, people can chant Hare Krishna. Thus, worshipping Lord Chaitanya, they can perform the highest activity and fulfill the highest religious purpose of satisfying the Supreme Lord.
Next.
Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, famous disciple of Lord Chaitanya, said the principle of transcendental devotional service having been lost, Sri Krishna Chaitanya has appeared to deliver again the process of devotion. He is so kind that he is distributing love of Krishna. Everyone should be attracted more and more to his lotus feet as honey bees are attracted to a lotus flower. The incarnation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also described in Sri Vishnu Sahasranam, which appears in chapter 189 of Dan Dharma of Mahabharata. Sri Jiva Goswami has quoted this reference as follows: Suvarna Varno Vimam Varnakas Varnamas Chaitanya. In his early pastimes, he appears as a householder. His limbs are beautiful, his body is smeared with puff of sunny, seems like he has also quoted sannyas speech In his later pastor, he accepts the sannyas form, and he is equalized and peaceful. He is the highest abode of civilization of silences the impersonalist intelligence.
Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjanasalakaya Sakshevamidhitam Yena Tasmai Shri-Gurave Namah. Mukam karoti vachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Yatpatam Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramanandamadavam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhyaeva Cha Patitam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschachati Satarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavranda Hare Krishna Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare.
Mute others. Others can mute. We are continuing the discussion on the conversation between Nimi Maharaj and the Nava Yogendras. And Nimi Maharaj is asking each one of the Yogendras certain questions. Now he is questioning earlier slokas, Harabhajan. One of the Nava Yogendras is Harabhajan. So Nimi Maharaj asked the question that what are the different colors in which the Supreme Lord appears? Nimi Maharaj is questioning Harabhajan. And what are the principles that is being followed in different ages, in different yugas? Very specific question about the Lord's incarnation that is relevant to Kali Yuga and what can be, because we are in Kali Yuga, so it's very important for us. So to that question, Harbhajan Yogendra, one of the Nava Yogendra, Harbhajan Yogendra, he explains important fact that how in different yugas the Lord appears and what other different processes. You are sitting because there is no chair or taking care of Diksha?
She will disturb the fast.
ठीक है. So in Satya Yuga, Harbhajan explains, in Satya Yuga, the Supreme Lord comes in white color. Ansa, swan is pure white. Shweta Varaha, the Lord in the form of Varaha also comes in white. So in Satya Yuga, the color of the Lord, color of the Supreme Lord is white. And the process, then what is two things. One is how the Lord appears, Yuga Avatar, different yugas. There are like Shakti Avesha Avatar, Guna Avatar. Yuga Avatar is one. By means of Yuga, how he is classified. So in Satya Yuga, he comes in white form. And the process to achieve perfection, the process at the time was Dhyana Yoga, meditation. One has to first learn Yoga Day Yogas, Ashtanga Yoga, control the body, control the senses, control the mind, and then concentrate your mind upon the Supreme Lord, a long process. 60,000 years only used to take. That is not even possible. Even people living 60 years is considered to be very senior citizen. Senior citizen tak pahunchega to bhi acha. So the process was Dhyana Yoga, applicable for Satya. Then Harbhajan. See, these are all explained by Harbhajan in Srimad Bhagavatam, which we must have heard here and there, but this is in Srimad Bhagavatam. And in Treta Yuga, the Lord appeared in reddish complexion. Complexion is in every yuga, the Lord changes his color. We don't have to change our color. Lord comes in reddish complexion, that is yajna. In yajna, the fire is reddish, you know, yajna murti. And the process is also doing yajna. Krite yadhyayato. Krita yuga means actually Satya yuga. Krite yadhyayato Vishnu. By means of process also it is already said. Krite yadhyayato Vishnu. Tretayam yajato makai. Treta means actually the process of perfection is doing yajnas. The kings, emperors, they used to arrange, elaborate yajnas. By means of it, they used to please the Supreme Lord. And the Supreme Lord, if he is pleased, he will appear in the yajna arena also. It's quite possible. Yajna, he will appear.
Which one is that?
Treta. Second in this cycle. So, reddish complexion, and then Dwapara Yuga. The Lord comes in bluish black. That we know who it is. Lord Krishna comes in bluish black by means of color. And the process of perfection is temple worship. Dwapare Paricharyayam, like the king, the Lord is worshipped. That is in Rajaswaya Yajna of Yudhishthira Maharaj. The first person to be worshipped, they were searching. Then said that Krishna should be worshipped. He is the most worshipable personality. And that is the process of perfection for this age, by the way. Worshipping the Supreme Lord with all glories, glorification. And that is in Dwapara. Then, Karbhajan, Yogendra goes to explain this verse that we have read today. In Kali Yuga, Krishna Avarnam, Prashana Krishna, Sango Pangastra Prashadam, Yagnai Sankirtana Praya. Very specifically Sankirtan. The word very Sankirtan is very much used. Yajantihi Sumedasana. Meda is actually intelligent. Sumeda means very intelligent. So in Kali Yuga, the Lord does not appear in blackish color. But that blackish Lord is appearing. And this is also substantiated in different places how the Lord appears in yellowish color, golden complexion, Gaura complexion, Gauranga. This is something, even though he appeared, but then he doesn't keep his identity for public scrutiny. Because when Krishna came, he exhibited, and whenever he wanted, he invoked the Sudarshan Chakra in weapon. Here the weapon, no, he doesn't invoke. He just accidentally invoked Sudarshan Chakra dealing with Jagai Mother. But still, it was not fully used. It's only to show, dikhane ke liye. Sometimes you don't have to, like once Narada Muni told a snake, to become a devotee. A devotee one day. Then everybody was coming and devotee matlab sadhu, no? A snake becomes sadhu, then people don't take it seriously. Generally, you see a snake, you run away, no? Because snake may come and bite you. And the snake is not biting, then they are playing. साधु snake है, चलो चलो वो भी कुछ बोलता नहीं, मैं तो साधु बन गया, नारद मुनि बोल दिया ऐसे. Then afterwards he came and he was very hurt. क्या हो गया? आप तो बोला साधु बन गए, मैं साधु बन गया, अभी मैं कुछ कर नहीं रहा हूँ. I told you to become sadhu doesn't mean that you cannot protect yourself. When people come, you go like this, but don't bite them. That's all. So devotees means, they are very smart. Sumedasa, no? Suppose you Sumeda, no? You are supposed to be very intelligent. You can't be foolish, and innocent and naive. Smart, but not in a very materialistic sense, but in a spiritual sense. Spiritually smart. Then the snake used to do like that, but never used to bite. Then people, so like that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu invoked Sudarsana. He didn't use it. Then they said, no, use, ठीक है, देखो, मेरे पास है इसमें. So, this is quoted by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in his Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And this is to establish the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's identity. The devotees know his identity actually, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even though publicly he did not claim to be Vishnu Tattva, he didn't say that I am God, I have come to give you this. But he always took himself and positioned himself as a devotee of Krishna. Bhaktavata. Bhakta. And especially, he actually took the role, he's a teacher, taking the role of a student and teaching the other students. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's very life is just an example for every devotee to follow. That is what he did. He did Nam Sankirtan, inaugurated it, and he chanted and danced in mass wherever he went. By looking at him, people became devotees. Forget about interaction. That is why Jiva Goswami quotes saying that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's astra was his beauty. He was very beautiful. Because Supreme Personality of Godhead, he possesses all the opulences. So beauty is one of the opulences. So the Lord comes, he can exhibit his beauty. And by seeing, people just became devotees. And by hearing him chanting, they became devotees. By taking prasad distributed, they become devotees. So he went all over India. He went from Navadip, he came to Puri, from Puri he went to South India. So he visited all the places. So you can imagine, by walking, sannyasi is not supposed to take any bullock cart also. Those days, facilities were bullock carts and the horse carts and chariots. Sannyasi is not supposed to take that. Sannyasi is supposed to walk. He was setting an example, walking, and acted exactly as a sannyasi, and preached, inaugurated this Sankirtana, which is considered to be Yajantihi Sumedasa. Very specifically, it talks about Sankirtana. This Krishna appearing in the yellow complexion is also confirmed in same Srimad Bhagavatam, the 10th canto, when Garga Muni, when the Garga Muni came to Nanda Maharaj for Namkaran, giving the name, because Krishna was born, so Garga Muni was invited to do the ceremony, and he said this person is a very special person. He has appeared in different colors. So he discusses there about how in different yugas he appeared in red, white and yellow. Yellow is golden complexion. Gold is yellow. So it is, so the Kali Yuga, the complexion of the Lord is yellow is already fixed. And who is that person? That is the $1 million question, because he doesn't openly say he's God. And the many Shastras, they don't directly deal with describing about the Supreme Lord in Kali Yuga. So Lord Chaitanya kept himself to be hidden. Because in Kali Yuga, if he claims to be God, then all other Tom, Dick and Harrys will also start telling God. In fact, you can imagine, the God came and he said, when somebody used to tell him, oh, you are the Supreme Lord Vishnu, he said, oh, Vishnu, Vishnu, Vishnu. He used to close his ears. In spite of God not allowing himself to be called God, you can imagine Tom, Dick and Harry are calling themselves Bhagavans. Bhagavan so and so. So many Bhagavan. आखी गया वाला भगवान भी है, अभी चलने वाला भगवान भी है. So called Bhagavan, Prabhupada used to say, there was one Bhagavan in Pune at the time of Prabhupada. So that Bhagavan used to get toothache actually. How, suppose you never find the Lord will get toothache. The material nature is working on the control of the Supreme God. Not at the Supreme. We are not. That is why we are getting toothache, because we are under the control of material laws. Material laws has made the tooth working in some way, and then we are not using it properly. The tooth, gets some infection, then you get ache. Toothache. Then doctor का पास जाना पड़ेगा, कितना visit करना पड़ेगा. Then eye problem. Then eye is designed for working, and then old age. For example, old age. Under the law, material law, you can't say I don't want to grow old. Who can say? Krishna, you're growing old. No?
Becoming
So, we are under the material law. And in spite of that, with gray hair, somebody is calling God. That picture, if you see, so-called God, gray hair. God doesn't get gray hair actually. Gray hair means you are under the material law. धीरे-धीरे gray होता है ना, धीरे-धीरे हो जाएगा. You don't find Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with gray hair or Krishna with gray hair. Krishna doesn't even grow. Nava Yavanam cha. He doesn't even grow older. At least Chaitanya Mahaprabhu grew up to the age of 48. At the age of 24, he took sannyas. Another 24 years, 48. Yes. Wind up. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in spite of being recognized in confidential way, not openly, but then Bhagavatam is open, but it doesn't directly say Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's why it is hidden. It says that he is not blackish, but he is the same person who will inaugurate Sankirtan Yajna. So you have to do some kind of interpretation to come to the conclusion Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the person who is being referred. Doesn't say Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Doesn't say Lord Chaitanya. But then you'll have to have Sumedha Onamangta. That intelligence, not only you should be intelligent to take Sankirtan Yajna, you'll have to be intelligent enough to also fix the things from different places and say, hey, this is the person. Many people figured it out. All Sango Pangasa. He comes with his associates. Doesn't come alone. So we can see in Gaur Lila, all the personalities who are part of Krishna Lila, they will be there in the form of gopis, in the form of his associates. All were taking part. So he comes with his all associates. So in the purport, it was elaborately described about Jiva Goswami coming. Jiva Goswami is one of the stalwarts actually. So he picks up from different scriptures and relates how what is being referred is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu only, not somebody. Because the reference also is not open. It's also, he is a hidden incarnation, Channavatar, and his references are also kind of hidden also. Channa. So here Jiva Goswami explained that Krishna Varnam and Krishna Chaitanya are equivalent in the purport. They are equivalent. This is Krishna Chaitanya only. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will chant always the holy names of Krishna. So we can see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he had external association and confidential associates. During the day, he was not giving lectures. He was only chanting the holy names and encouraging everybody to chant. chanting and dancing and feasting. After chanting, Mahaprasad Seva. But then he had these confidential associates, Ramananda Rai, Sarup Damodar Goswami. These are Lalita and Vishaka Shaki, by the way. They are gopis. So in Gambhir, in Jagannath Puri, Gambhir is the residential quarter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in the night, he will be exhibiting his confidential pastimes, separation. Because one of the things is, Lord Krishna wanted to taste the mood of separation that gopis, especially Radharani, experience. So for that, the arrangement is made in such a way that he can come to Jagannath Puri. So in Jagannath Puri, Lord Jagannath Rath Yatra is coming. Jagannath is the form of, the mood of separation. When the Krishna Leela, especially in Braj, was described in Dwaraka, when it was described, so he was feeling the ecstasy. So Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra, so this form is the mood of separation exhibited. So Lord Krishna is there, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna only, but wanting to experience the mood of Radharani. Mood is Radharani, but Krishna, and he is relishing. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would stand in front of Garuda Stamba, he was just looking at Jagannath. Jagannath is in the mood of separation of Radharani, and now Radharani's mood is standing actually. So, so the purpose of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to experience that the mood of separation is fulfilled in Jagannath. Even though externally his mother told that he please go and stay in Jagannath, but that's the external reason. Internally, he actually wanted to stay only. There is no other place he would have gone actually. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that mood of separation he would exhibit in the night. And Sarup Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Rai, they would be the confidential associate, will be pacifying him. And, taking care of him. Otherwise, once you are in ecstasy, you don't know external activities, cease to exist, and you do activities which maybe you will get up and just walk in the seashore and think that it is Yamuna, and you'll jump into it actually. You will think sand dunes as Govardhan, and say that hey, Govardhan is here. Food of Braj Bhav, Gopi Bhav. So in this way, so during the day he was always chanting, that is for the external reason of preaching the holy names of Krishna. The external reason and internal reason that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come with. So in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he actually did not use any weapon, because in other yugas, the Lord is free to use his weapon. He can take his Sudarshan Chakra. Like so many demons he has fought, he is allowed. He can just kill, take the weapon. Sometimes he takes the weapon Sudarshan Chakra. Sometimes he makes his nails as a weapon. Nail also, if you are sharp nail, it can be a weapon. So Jiva Goswami says that his weapon was his beauty. Jiva Goswami explains. Different acharyas, they explain very confidential thing. This may not be openly available in any scriptures, but the acharyas' explanations are as good as scriptures. What is that they are giving is their realization. Of course, Jiva Goswami is Manjari himself, and their internal mood, like Prabhupada will explain. So his realization is giving. It is like digested food given to you, easy to digest for us. Something which is maybe very difficult to digest, you already make the processing happen and give ready-made, then it is easy. So in that way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his beauty is the weapon, and especially when Jagai and Madai, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to finish them because of their offense at the lotus feet of Nityananda. But they said, no, this is Kali Yuga. Leave that weapon. No, we have to have the weapon of compassion. Save them. If you kill these two, then आगे क्या होगा? Everybody is like that only. Those days, that time, they were the worst degraded people. But then, nowadays, even so-called gentleman is as degraded as Jagai Madai. Externally gentleman. It's not that gentleman means you are nicely dressed up. Somebody, you put coat, suit, tie, everything. Oh, he's a gentleman. That is not the real definition. Gentleman is how you behave. In fact, Prabhupada said, somebody asked, a reporter asked Prabhupada, how do we identify a gentleman? How do you identify a devotee? And Prabhupada said, he's a perfect gentleman. Perfect gentleman is not just about wearing a nice cloth. Perfect gentleman is how you deal with. So, so-called gentlemen of Kali Yuga, their personal life, you can see they are very degraded as Jagai Madai. Drinking and eating and cheating and everything. Jagai Madai previously used to understand the person from external appearance only whether he is a gentleman or not. Now, external appearance may not be the only criteria. Activity. What do you do? So, Nityananda Prabhu, who is merciful, he actually pacified Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and then made him to give the blessing so that they became devotees. Jagai Madai later became devotees, perfect devotees. So in this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his incarnation in Kali Yuga, in the golden form, he is accompanied by all his associates. Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, Gadadhar Pandit, Srivas Thakur, so many devotees, all the associates. They are all they all came from the Krishna Leela. Everyone took the role in Gaur Leela. So Gaur Leela and Krishna Leela are very much one-to-one correspondence you can see. There in Krishna Leela, Krishna dances with the gopis. And the Gaur Leela, Lord Chaitanya danced with all his associates actually. Many of them are gopis and manjaris and things like that. There it was Ras Leela, but here it is Sankirtan Leela. Kirtan Leela. That Leela is a little different, but here, even though in that Leela, so many gopis appeared here, they appeared in the male form, not the female form. Because it's sannyasi, no? Sannyasi ka saath associate karna, then male form. And so-called followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so-called, quote unquote, they try to understand what is their Swarup, Swarupa Siddhi. And then they figure it out. I don't know what they figure it out, by the way. Somebody assumes that they are gopis. Swarupa is gopi. Somebody says that, oh, you are descendants gopi. Then they start dressing like a woman. Gopi ban rahe na. And act like externally gopi. And which Bhakti Vriksha Saraswati branded as Apasampradaya. The real gopis, Lalita and Vishaka, right? Swarup Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Rai. They are Radha Rasbihar ka bagal mein do gopi hai. But the same Lalita and Vishaka, when they wanted to associate with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they became Swarup Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Rai. They didn't wear sari. They didn't wear women dress. They were wearing sadhu's dress, male dress only. So those who act in the Swarupa, thinking that they are acting in Swarupa, even though the Swarupa may be actually a female form, but still as long as the one is in this world, they don't act like that. Internally they may have the mood, Mood he can have. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the mood was Radharani, but he was not dressing like Radharani, no? He was wearing the sannyasi dress, no? Because he has taken a male feature. What is fitting to that only has to be done. He didn't wear himself, and followers how they can do it, that is Apasampradaya. So all the associates from Krishna Leela, they participated in Gaur Leela and gave the opportunity for others to follow the footsteps. Those who are intelligent, they can understand. They won't, even if the mood is gopi, they will internally have that mood, but externally they will act according to the time, place, and circumstances in the situation that we are put in. They won't change the physical things. The change of consciousness is required, not physical appearance. Suppose somebody is a non-devotee, just I am appearing like a devotee, putting tilak and vagera. Okay, a devotee. Internal consciousness has to be devotee. That has to change. Without changing internal thing, external appearance will only give you respect in the society and the plates of prasad. If that is not the goal of life, then that is not Sumedha. That is crooked Meda. Like, it is exactly like in India, people have sympathy for sadhus. Sometimes you go to holy places, the beggars, they put sadhu ka kapda dal dete. They know that if you are in the sadhu dress, people will give some charity. So charity के लिए साधु बनता है, वो क्या साधु है? Then charity ले लिया, अंदर का तो क्लीन नहीं हुआ, जाके बीड़ी पिएगा, वो क्या साधु हो गया? That is extreme case, but in a milder way, it cannot be in Krishna consciousness also. हम बीड़ी नहीं पीता है, खाली हम herbal tea पीता है. That also requires improvement actually. So his associates came with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and taught us the entire process of Krishna. Lord Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya's activities can be simply followed, follow the footsteps. He has set the highest standard of devotional service. If one wants to improve the standard of devotional service, we try to follow as much as possible Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates. They already set the highest standard of achieving perfection in life by performing the Yuga Dharma and going back to Godhead, assured, guaranteed. So Pasha Krishnam explained here that coming in the golden form, prominence is given for actually chanting the holy names of Krishna. Holy names of Krishna can be anything. Every sampradaya you go, they have different mantras. Om Namo Narayanaya. Go to Sri Sampradaya, South, chant Narayana. Sri Krishna Saranam Mama. Vallabhacharya Sampradaya. These are all Krishna's name. But specifically, so all these things, in fact, they also call Nam Sankirtan. Many Sampradaya, they also call Nam Sankirtan is very good. They will chant also some mantra, some Kirtan, Bhajan, etc. Very specifically. Even though all are, Nam Sankirtan means what? Chanting the names of Krishna. It could be names of Sri Krishna Saranam Mama. Yeah, okay, that is also name of Krishna. Narayana is also name of Krishna. But specifically, Kali Santrana Upanishad says, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Iti Sodasakam Nam Kalau Kalmasa Nasana. Kalau, in the age of Kali, the 16 words of Hare Krishna mantra, Maha Mantra, is the only way to remove the contamination within the heart in Kali Yuga. The purpose of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Cheto Darpana Majana, contamination ko nikalna hai. Cleansing the heart, cleansing the consciousness is the main purpose of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings. So, he specifically inaugurated this Nam Sankirtan in the form of Hare Krishna. There are so many Nam Sankirtans in the form of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That is one of the very special things. And specifically, he introduced the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra so that the people of Kali Yuga, everybody can chant. Because this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is from the Upanishad. Shruti. Shruti cannot be used by Shudras. What to speak of lower than Shudras? Kali Yuga, best is Shudra. Kalau Shudra Sambhava. The best the way one is born. The worst is unlimited going down. Maybe something may not be described in Shastra also, people may become actually new versions. So actually in the scripture, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, what is mentioned is Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Many times, if you go to some, Satyanarayan Puja, this Puja, that Puja, they will chant mantra. At the end, they will chant Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. They are not wrong. Because Shruti Vakya is that. But whether we are qualified to chant in that way or not, that we will have to decide. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made a special concession for Kali Yuga people. ठीक है भाई, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. ये श्रुति वाक्य. But you are not qualified. चलो भाई, उल्टा करो इसको. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. Now you can't tell it is श्रुति वाक्य. चलो का chanting करो. नहीं तो बोलेगा अरे अरे वो श्रुति में बोला है, हम तो qualify नहीं, तुमको qualify करेगा. So sometimes people will ask, you should know that, you should not be ignorant, saying that ऐसा नहीं कुछ, ऐसा ही लिखा है नहीं. श्रुति में Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. For making us qualified to chant, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made this facility. Hare Krishna को पहला किया. But when you chant a mantra, when it goes in a circle, beginning end doesn't really matter. Which is beginning, which is end, you cannot say. Circle में कौन सा beginning, कौन सा end है? Valmiki was chanting what actually? Mara करके chanting. Mara. If you see, the last word can be first word and first circle में ऐसा होता है. The same way is applicable here. So when you are continuously chanting Hare Krishna, the Rama Krishna तो आता है तो circle में तो जा रहा है ना. So the benefit will be as good as chanting the original name, but you can be safe saying that Abba Kali Yuga, I am not chanting the Shruti Vakya, but I am chanting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave me not Hare Rama Mahamantra. You never will know. We branded it in such a way that this became popular brand. Branding भी लगता है. Even though the thing may be existing from before, branding करके बोलेगा. Branding is, marketing. In marketing technique, branding is also very important, especially for people who like branding. Otherwise, we will not take. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And in general, whomever he met, Yare Beko, Tare Kaho, Krishna Upade, chant Hare Krishna. And you become Guru. Amara Agya, in my order, you go, whomever you meet, tell them to become Krishna conscious. Tell them to chant Hare Krishna. Tell them that Krishna is God. You are servant. Your job is, your duty is to serve Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed everyone wherever he met, wherever you are in, chant Hare Krishna and preach. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's two aspects is you practice and preach. Only practice is not Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's standard. If it was the case, he did not have traveled all the South India, all the way preaching. And he need not have told all the Goswamis, you please write all the scriptures. That is preaching actually, by the way. Writing is preaching. Because what is written by Goswamis we are reading now, what is written by Prabhupada we are reading, that is also preaching. Books, writing, preaching. So practicing and preaching, and for that also he has set his own example. He has done it. What you tell others, you have to do it first. Practice before preach. Preaching has to be there, but achar and prachar. पहला अपने को सुधराना है, अपना सुधराने तो क्या सुधराएगा बाकी. First is practice and then preach, and that is standard also Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established. Sarvam Bhattacharya is one of the principal disciples of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was an impersonalist before. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's not that he didn't preach one-to-one. He can even preach, even the impersonalist, he can make devotees also. But maximum emphasis he was giving. If somebody will come and tell that, do you understand Vedanta? He has to open your mouth. No. He will do that also. But in general principle, he was propagating the holy names, chanting the holy names. And Sarvam Bhattacharya recognized that the principle of devotional service that is being lost was reintroduced by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He reintroduced it. Even though Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's identity is not openly revealed, but there are many places which is revealed also. In Sri Jiva Goswami explains that in Vishnu Sahasranam, it is stated that Suvarna Varna. You got 1000 names of Lord Vishnu, Suvarna Varna. Hemango. So this, which other incarnation has taken this? No other incarnation than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that also indicated one of the names of Sahasranam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's name also is indicated. So Jiva Goswami indicates that. It is also mentioned that in his later pastimes he accepts sannyas. Sannyas Krit Chamaha Santo Nishta Shanti Parayana. And we will find that is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he will preach the impersonalists and make them devotees. These are all quoted actually. You can see Sarvam Bhattacharya, the Mayavadis of Banaras. As a sannyasi also he has set the highest standard of sannyas. And his own disciple, Goswamis, especially Raghunath Das Goswami, he set the highest standard of renunciation. Sometimes, Mayavadis think that they are very renounced. Compared to Raghunath Das Goswami, what kind of, his highest standard of renunciation actually. So in this way, Karbhajan Muni explains very interestingly in this section of Srimad Bhagavatam that in the further slokas, this sloka we read, further sloka he explained because we may not read those slokas, so we will summarize what Karbhajan Muni is telling after telling this. He says that those people who are very intelligent will take the process of Sankirtan. And he says they are very, very fortunate souls. Taking to the process of Krishna consciousness, especially he is discussing this in the previous Yuga, by the way. The discussion between Nimi Maharaj and Nava Yogendra happened not just 5,000 years ago, long back. That is being quoted in Srimad Bhagavatam. Sukadeva Goswami brings that actually because Nimi Maharaj met Nava Yogendra. Oh, kya hua dono ke beech mein? Jo hua hai, that was long back. And he is talking at the time only in Kali Yuga how the people are fortunate. And which Kali Yuga? That Kali Yuga in which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. Not other Kali Yuga. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. And by performing this process of Sankirtan, they will be very advanced. Nava Yogendras are so advanced. And they are telling that, Karbhajana Muni is telling that those who take the process, they will be highly intelligent. They recognize that this is the best way, and they are very, very fortunate. Sometimes we may not know what is our, like Hanuman ka paas, no, he had so much power, but he was not knowing it. Somebody has to remind him, अरे अरे तुम्हारे पास इतना power है, ऐसा है क्या? So here Karbhajan Muni is telling that a person in Kali Yuga who takes the process of Krishna consciousness is very, very fortunate. Why this is fortunate? Because he is telling even the people of Satya Yuga, even though they are born in a time when everybody is sadhu, Satya Yuga, beginning, everybody is sadhu, everybody is advanced. And they want to take birth in Kali Yuga because of this opportunity of performing Sankirtan and become Sumedasha. You must think, really? Okay, Karbhajan Muni is telling, we are not telling it. And to take advantage of the holy places and take advantage of the great devotees, it's a very interesting thing. It says the great devotees appearing in South India, Dravida, the so-called Dravida log bolte na. Shastra talks about Dravida Desh, South India, Dravida Desh, like Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya. In fact, the Bhakti takes birth in South and grows, comes all the way like South, Karnataka, Maharashtra grows. Gujarat में आके थोड़ा बिगड़ जाता है. Gujarat थोड़ा that is said. We are not against Gujarat. Then when it goes to Vrindavan, then it becomes rejuvenated. So, Karbhajan Muni says this holy place of South India, by drinking the water of Tamraparani, Kaveri, mentioning about all these rivers, and being there, Ranganath, Kaveri ka pani pi ke Ranganath ka Mahaprasad ka ki, they will become, they are so fortunate that they will be able to take the process of Krishna consciousness. Why they are so fortunate? Because they actually complete the process of perfection in Krishna consciousness very fast. So fast that somebody maybe, in 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, we don't know, even 1 year, we don't know. Possible in the very lifetime in Kali Yuga. So, you may have to understand, even somebody takes 50 years, suppose, assuming that 50 years, in the calculation of higher planetary system, it is nothing. It is 50 days in Amravati, in Indraloka. 50 days. 50 days is what? It's like 2 mahina bhi nahi. 1-2 mahina. Suppose somebody takes a very long time to finish, suppose let us say that, somebody has to get a PhD. Kitna saal lagta hai? First he has to undergo 10th standard tak 10 saal hai. Uska pehla bhi ho gaya, wo chhod do. 10 saal hai. +2 है, 12 साल हो गए. BA भी किया, BTech किया, ठीक है, और 3 साल है, 12-15 हो गए. और मास्टर्स किया, 17 हो गए. उसके बाद कम से कम 3 साल से लगता है. 20 years hard work. You have to do hard work. At the end, you get minimum. I said somebody may take longer. 25 भी हो जाए. Such a long time it takes. Suppose somebody in 2-3 days gets a PhD, what will you? अरे हम लोग को इतना समय लगा, जल्दी कैसे मिल गया? If Krishna comes and gives honorary PhD, what we can do about it? Honorary PhD भी मिलता है ना? So as good as somebody becoming PhD in 2-3 days and somebody who got PhD after 20 years of effort. What do you think? Arey, itna fortunate hai, so fast he became. The devotees of Lord Chaitanya achieving perfection is like that. Getting in no time the perfection. Compared to the age, you can imagine, people used to do tapasya for thousands and thousands of years. हमारा तो क्या कितने साल हो गए 10 साल कर दिया बोलते में बहुत हो गया कुछ हो नहीं रहा है. When somebody goes through tapasya, it's always in terms of hundreds and thousands, not just in single digit, double digit ही नहीं, 3 digit, 4 digit में जाएगा tapasya. At the end, they will get some siddhi and then, so many things. So long way to go. And in Kali Yuga, the Sankirtan movement is, that is why it is said Sumedasa. One who understands that and takes it. So, in this way, Karbhajana Muni says that this Sankirtan Yajna is so important, and those who are getting an opportunity to take and practice, they are very, very fortunate, and they are envied by the residents of heaven also. As I said, they have gone there, और 2 महीना के अंदर ये लोग जा रहा है ऊपर हरे भरे इतना जल्दी जा रहा है करके, they actually sometimes think that these guys are more fortunate than us, like that. But the whole problem is that we don't know what fortune we have got. We take it for granted. बदलना पड़ेगा. Serious होना पड़ेगा. Because this opportunity, can you imagine, this is said by one of the Nava Yogendras to Nini Maharaj, such a great personality of discussing about devotees of Lord Chaitanya. Who are they? They are all sitting in this room actually. Some of them. They are discussing about the devotee of Lord Chaitanya in the Satyuga, long time back. Those who are going to come in Kali Yuga and take the process of Krishna consciousness, they are very far. They are actually discussing about us. And we have to make their discussion more meaningful by making actually fortunate we are. Time pass करने से नहीं होते. Fortunate is not just a rubber stamp, not just what we appear, not just what we show off to others. It's actually everything is internal. How much internally things are developing. External things help to develop the internal thing. But external is not the end, it's only the beginning. So in this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mood of Prithivite Yachayati Nagaradi Gram Sarvatra Prachar Hoy Be Morana. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, all over the world, let my name be chanted. And Srila Prabhupada made that possible. It's not anybody else. It's already done. Nobody else is going to do something else. What you can do something, it's already there. Everywhere. Every cities they are there and they are spreading more and more. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also gave the people who are, see, Bhagavatam, everywhere it is glorified. Those who are born in India, they are fortunate actually. Because the culture is like that. Bharata bhumite hoila manusha janmaya. Janma sartar ki kari karo paro upakar. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, if you are born in the land of India, perfect your life first. Then preach the message of Chaitanya. Preach the message of Krishna consciousness all over the world. So in this way, it is so nicely described here how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, but appeared hidden, Bhakta, he appeared as a devotee to teach all of us how to do devotional service. And so nicely it is described that how a person takes this process is very intelligent. It is said by Karbhajana Muni. Sumedasa, very important actually. And Sankirtan Yajna, performing Sankirtan Yajna is very intelligent. So, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we all are having that opportunity of falling in that category of Sumedasha. But then by our action, we have to make ourselves really Sumedasha. Very intelligent. Meaning, performing devotional service with all seriousness, so much so that how the possibility of purifying our consciousness and qualifying to go back to God, it is quite possible in this lifetime. If we can do that, that is what we are living up to the standard. Anything else, anything less is not up to the mark. Anything less is not up to the mark. And it may look like very difficult task, but it is quite achievable. The teacher wants to test the student. He may give a difficult question, but it is, solvable. It will not be beyond your capacity. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a great teacher. So don't think he has given a task which is not possible to be solved. It's quite possible to be done. Quite possible to be done. But then we have to put sincere and serious effort to achieve. It's not a joke. It's not going to be like a easy walk. Effort has to be put. Effort has to be put. But it is reachable, achievable. Okay, we'll stop here. Any questions or comments?